Hey there, deep divers. Today, we're going to be looking at something you might not think a lot about, military uniforms,
Interesting.
and how technology is really transforming them.
Okay.
We get this really cool document about a company called Rainfall.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're doing some really cutting-edge stuff with managing these uniforms.
Yeah, when you think about it, uniforms, they're vital. I mean, they're not just clothes, right?
Right.
They're about authority, they represent identity and even, access to secure areas.
It's crazy because I was reading about a case where somebody actually used counterfeit uniforms
Oh, wow.
to try to get onto a military base.
Oh, geez.
And you think about all the security risks that
Yeah.
that has.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
Sure.
The old ways of doing things like, spreadsheets and manual checks,
Yeah,
they just can't keep up.
right. And they're not efficient.
No, they're not.
When you're thinking about things like inventory or, making sure that everything is being maintained properly,
Yeah, that's where Rainfall comes in
that's where they come in.
with some really cool tech.
Yeah.
This digital twin idea.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's like each uniform gets its own digital fingerprint.
Yeah, and it's not, it sounds futuristic, but
Yeah.
it's actually really practical and really effective.
Yeah.
So they use NFC, RFID, even QR codes
Uh-huh.
embedded in the uniform.
Okay.
And basically, it's a digital record
Got
that
it.
has everything.
So explain how it works.
Okay, so think about it like this.
Yeah.
Counterfeit uniforms we talked about, can't
Yeah.
do that anymore.
Yeah.
Instant scan tells you if it's real or not.
So no more fake uniforms.
No more fakes.
That's great.
Huh.
So what other things can these digital twins do?
Okay, so think about the logistics
Right.
of managing, thousands of uniforms all over the place
Mm-hmm.
with this, where every uniform is.
Wow.
Who has it when it needs to be replaced, even its whole maintenance history,
It's like you can track it from the moment it's made
the entire life cycle.
or the day it's done.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, when you think about specialized uniforms,
Like what?
like, flame-resistant suits or chemical gear,
Oh, yeah.
that stuff has got to be maintained.
Right.
Specific care, expiration dates even.
Right. Because you don't want to be in a situation.
Right. A malfunction could be,
Right.
a matter of life and death.
So this tech is making things safer.
It's like a built-in safety check.
Build right in.
Wow. This is pretty mind-blowing.
It is cool stuff.
It seems like this touches everything, from
Uh-huh.
security to logistics to safety. It does.
And I feel like we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah, we're just scratching the surface.
There's got to be more benefits
There's way more.
that we haven't even talked about yet.
So much more to this. There is way more, so much more to this. Like, think about this.
Okay.
What happens to a uniform
Yeah.
when a service member leaves the military?
Oh, that's a good question. I know a lot of veterans keep their uniforms,
Right.
like their dress uniforms,
Becca?
for special occasions or for ceremonies.
Exactly. And some of those uniforms, especially, with certain patches or insignia, they can actually be pretty valuable.
Yeah.
But that can be a problem because then you get like a black market
Oh, wow.
for these things. And people use them for all sorts of, shady stuff.
See, that's something I hadn't even.
Yeah.
touched
But
on.
with Rainfall system, even when a uniform is like decommissioned,
Okay.
its digital twin is still there.
Right.
So a veteran can prove that their uniform is real.
Which, helps prevent fraud and make sure that these symbols of service are, treated with respect.
Yeah. That's really cool. I like that.
It is a nice touch.
It really is. Yeah, it's not just about managing them.
Right.
But it's also about, preserving their history
Uh-huh.
and the service that they represent.
Exactly. And there's more
Okay.
sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
Military uniforms a lot of times
Yeah.
have, special materials
Mm-hmm.
that need to be disposed of properly.
Yeah, right. You can't just throw away a flame-resistant suit.
You can't just toss it.
Yeah.
But with digital tracking,
Okay.
you can make sure that these old uniforms are recycled correctly
Oh, that's really cool.
or disposed of in a way that's good for the environment.
Yeah.
It's a small thing, but it all adds up
It does. It
Oh,
does. Amazing.
to a more sustainable military.
It really is how this one technology
Yeah,
is touching so many different things.
it's pretty amazing. But let's get into the nuts and bolts a little bit.
Okay. How does this thing actually work?
Yeah, I want to kind of peek under the hood here.
Okay, so at its core,
Yeah.
it's all about these little tags
Uh-huh.
the NFC RFID or QR codes.
Right.
They're like tiny little microchips, basically.
Okay.
And they can be put right into the fabric of the uniform
Wow.
without, messing anything up or
Yeah.
making it uncomfortable or anything.
Okay, so what happens when you scan one of these tags?
Okay, so the scanner reads the code
Uh-huh.
and then connects to a secure system in the cloud
Okay.
where the digital twin for that uniform is stored,
So it's basically linking the real uniform
like a virtual copy.
with its digital copy.
Exactly. And that digital twin, it has tons of information,
Okay.
like who it was issued to,
Uh-huh.
the size, all the specs,
Hmm.
maintenance records, where it is right now, basically everything you need to know
That's a lot of information.
about that uniform's whole life.
So how do people actually use this information?
Well, Rainfall gives them a really easy-to-use system to manage all their uniforms so they can see what's in stock, what's being used, what needs to be fixed. They can even get like reports on how uniforms are being used and stuff.
So it's like a live dashboard
Real-time information.
for all your uniforms.
It is pretty cool, and it's designed to work with all the systems they already have,
Okay.
like their ERP and supply chain software.
So it's not about replacing everything.
No, it's about adding to it,
It's about enhancing.
making it smarter
Okay, that makes sense.
with this new layer of tracking.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about the general benefits.
Uh-huh.
But this document goes into how each branch of the military is using this.
Right, each branch has their own needs.
Yeah. Let's get into some specifics.
Okay, so for the Army,
Mm-hmm.
with all their ground troops and all their different uniforms and equipment, it's really about keeping track of everything,
Mm-hmm.
making sure nothing gets lost.
Right. Imagine if a soldier loses something important.
Right, like night vision goggles or something.
Yeah. Yeah, during a mission.
During a mission, that could be bad.
That could be disastrous. Yeah.
But with this, they can see where that equipment was last
Oh, wow.
and hopefully get it back quickly.
So it's not just about the uniforms.
Right.
It's about the equipment they carry, too.
All the gear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the Navy?
So the Navy, they're all about ships, right? So being able to track things in those tight spaces is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine there's a fire on a ship.
Oh, man.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
But with this tech, they can see who's missing
Wow.
and where they were last.
Okay.
And that could save lives.
Wow. So this technology could actually,
Yeah.
be used in those really intense simulations.
Exactly, life or death.
Okay, what about the Air Force?
The Air Force, they've got some really high-tech uniforms.
do, yeah.
Flight suits, oxygen masks, helmets, even uniforms with sensors in them
Oh, wow.
to monitor the pilot's health and how they're doing.
So it's not just about tracking the uniform.
It's about the whole system.
It's about all the stuff that's built into it.
Right. And then there's the Space Force,
The newest branch.
the newest branch, and they're all about space.
Yeah.
So for them, it's about making sure their uniforms and equipment are secure.
It makes sense that they'd want the latest tech.
In that kind of environment, you got to be on top of things.
Absolutely. And then you have the Marines.
The Marines, known for their tough training,
Yeah.
and special units like MARSOC.
Mm-hmm.
For them, it's about making sure only the right people
Yeah.
have access to their uniforms and gear
So it's like another level of security.
to protect their special capabilities.
Right. And last but not least, the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard, they're all about maritime safety and rescue.
Yeah.
So they use this tech to track the uniforms and equipment for their rescue teams.
Makes sense.
They got to have the right stuff in the right place,
Right at the right time.
and they need it.
Yeah. It's really incredible how this technology can be used by all these different branches
It really is.
in different ways.
It shows you how versatile it is.
It does. And it shows you how much potential it has.
Yeah, we're changing how we think about uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just clothes anymore. They're
Yeah.
part of a bigger system
Oh,
that helps with security, logistics, sustainability, all sorts of things.
yeah, it's like we're moving toward a future
Uh-huh.
where uniforms are as smart as the people wearing them.
Exactly. Smart uniforms for smart people. But, we've talked a lot about the technology,
Yeah.
but we can't forget about the human side of things.
Right. What about the people actually wearing these uniforms?
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in all the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
but we can't forget about, the people on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, it's about supporting the people who serve.
Right.
And, technology should always be a tool
Mm-hmm.
to help them, not
Right.
replace them.
Right. It should empower them.
Exactly. And in this case, it's about giving service members the tools they need to do their jobs better and safer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I am curious, though, about any downsides.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about all the good stuff.
Uh-huh.
But what about, privacy,
Okay, yeah.
data security?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any concerns with that kind of stuff?
That's a good question. And anytime you're dealing with personal data,
Right, especially in the military.
especially in the military, security is the top priority.
Yeah.
Rainfall says that their system is super secure with encryption and access controls and all that to protect that sensitive information.
So it sounds like they've thought about that.
Yeah.
But, it's something we got to keep an eye on
Oh, absolutely.
as this technology gets more and more common.
We always need to be thinking about the ethical side of new technology.
Right.
Especially when it can affect people's lives in such a big way.
Yeah. It's funny. We started this deep dive talking about uniforms.
Yeah.
Something so basic.
Mm-hmm.
And we've ended up talking about all this crazy tech.
We went deep.
Secured sustainability, even ethics.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it really is. It just shows you that you can find innovation in the most unexpected places.
It's true. And it reminds us that we should always be looking for ways to improve.
Right.
To innovate, even in the areas we might take for granted.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, deep divers, we've covered a lot today.
We did.
From the tiny little NFC tags to the big picture of smart technology in the military.
Yeah, hopefully this has been insightful for everyone.
We hope you enjoyed the journey as much as we did.
If you want to learn more about Rainfall and what they're doing, we'll put their info in the show notes.
And as always, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What are your big takeaways from this deep dive?
What other ways could you see this technology being used?
Head over to our social media and let's keep this conversation going.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See you in the next deep dive.
What?